Welcome back to the Vanessa G Fitcast. I'm Vanessa Gillette Pozos, and here with me is
Omar Pozos. What is up, our VGFN fam? How are you guys doing? How are you, Ness?
I'm feeling good. I'm excited. We're going to Miami this weekend.
Woo! I was trying to tell you earlier, but there's that song. It's like, "Welcome to Miami, bienvenidos." I don't know. So that's I've always thought
for us.
I've always thought about that song, but I've never been. So yeah, I'm excited. But
we're first timers, both of us. We're going for the Hybrid Health Summit. Super excited. It's a really big conference. Really centered around the functional health space, which is something that our team is really specialized in. And so diving in to learn even more from some really big names in the space, and super excited about that.
Yeah, I'm pumped. I know one of the biggest guests is Shaquille O'Neal, the basketball player.
Yeah, kind of random, but
well, he's really had like a big weight loss transformation, so it'll be cool to see, him and his experiences with it all. But yeah, I'm excited to go and hang out. But one of the things as we were kind of reading about what to talk about today and the outline and stuff like that we had to share with our listeners was, this situation that now, as we're 3 months and almost 4 into the year, people are starting to realize that some of those quick fixes, that some of those fad diets, some of those detoxes out there are like, okay, maybe that wasn't the right approach to go when the year first started, right? So now they're kind of getting at the point where people are reaching out for us to help, and they're like, hey, I know you guys told me not to do a juice cleanse at the beginning of the year. I did it anyways, and I lost, 5 pounds. I lost this much weight, and now it's all gained. It's all come back, and I feel like crap. I feel, lethargic. I feel like I don't know where to go from here. Can you guys please help? And I think, kind of what we were going to talk about today is so important when it comes to this stuff, because at the end of the day, you have to really lay the right foundation in order for the process to work. If the day-to-day things that you're doing are unsustainable, it's never going to work, right?
Yeah, and even more than that, I think what happens is a lot of people, they jump into the quick fixes and then they realize, oh, this is, maybe I could willpower my way through this for a little while, but eventually now I want to go on this spring trip vacation and I don't want to stick to this crazy diet on that.
Yeah.
Or now it's Easter and I want to be able to eat the chocolate eggs without a worry. Like, people realize that they want to be able to actually live their life and have results, but yet all this now anxiety, all this food guilt, all these things come up around food after jumping on these fad diets, and it becomes very black and white, all or nothing, and it becomes really tough for people. So that's why I wanted to take some time today to record a episode here on 4 hacks for a healthier relationship with food and exercise, because if you want to be somebody where, maybe you have kids or you plan on having kids one day and you want to be able to, wake up on a Sunday morning and make pancakes with your kids without a worry about how that's going to fit into your keto diet, or you want to be able to, get exercise in and demonstrate that for your children in a healthy way where they want to do it too, and they aren't being like, oh, well, mommy said, I have to do this exercise so that I can,
minutes.
Not have a belly. Like, kids pick up on these things. So it's really important that, like you were saying, we lay the foundation for a healthier relationship with food and exercise so that your results are sustainable and so it's something you enjoy doing. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah, I think that you kind of nailed it there with that word enjoyment is, and we tell people all the time, I'm like, I can give you the best training. I can give you the best nutrition in the world. But if you absolutely hate it, then it's never going to work, because what's the fun in eating chicken, rice, and broccoli every single day and doing cardio, 2 hours a day just to keep whatever crazy, unattainable goal is? Instead, wouldn't you much rather do something that's not only enjoyable, but also gets you to where you want to go, so you can have best of both worlds? And here's the thing, ladies, it is possible to be able to enjoy the things that also get you the results that you want. So it's not I have to do this or I have to do that, or I have to, hate myself while I'm doing this. Like, it is possible with the right approach and the right process.
Exactly. So let's jump into our 4 hacks for a healthier relationship with food and exercise. Hack number 1, include all food groups. And like we were just saying, how many people come to us and say that they've done keto or they've done low carb or they've done something where they cut out an entire food group? These things are not sustainable, and it's really not the best approach long term anyway, because our bodies do need all of the macronutrient groups in order to function at their absolute best.
Yeah. Funny. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, like, the word macro itself, macro means large. We need these in large quantities. So cutting out carbs and trying to get our carbs as low as possible, it's not a good approach long term. Like, there can be certain times where doing these types of things in a very methodical, very structured way for certain health conditions can be important, but it's never a good dieting strategy. It's never a good weight loss strategy. It's not sustainable. We need all three of our macronutrient groups. We need them in really a balanced way, which is why we really encourage the balanced plate approach of really thinking about when you're making your meals, do you have a protein source? Do you have a carbohydrate source? And do you have a fat source? Because you need all three.
Can you talk a little bit the importance about each one, Vanessa, and like why you need some of the three? Because some people are like, oh, I just, if I could eat more protein, or if I could just, eat less carbs. And I'm like, well, do you even know what protein does? Do you even know what carbs do? So I think it's important for you to kind of talk about that if you want.
Yeah.
if you may.
Well, sure. No, I'll jump into that. Yeah, no, I mean, so let's break them down. So obviously our three macros are carbs, protein, and fats. Now carbs, I feel like this is the one that gets the most hate. Everybody always wants to cut out carbs. But the reality is carbs are your body's preferred source of energy. Your body loves carbs and it's going to run best off of carbs. It helps your brain function better. It helps spare muscle loss. So really important if we are strength training. It's really, really great to make sure we're eating enough carbs. But really carbs, when you hear carbs, you should think energy. If we're getting enough of the right types of carbs, then you're going to absolutely feel your best, and it should not be something that we fear. Now, protein we like to talk about as being, like, sometimes we call it the most important macronutrient because it really is so important when we're talking about weight loss. And so many people undereat on protein. But protein is huge because it helps build and repair your muscle tissue. So if you are working out, you are strength training, it's so important that you're getting enough protein. Otherwise, you're not going to even get any really the results out of strength training that you want. And on top of that, if you're trying to lose weight, you're going to end up losing muscle instead of fat, which is how you end up looking and feeling worse than you even started, even if the scale does go down. So protein is super, super important there. If we're exercising, especially important. And then last but certainly not least is fats. And it's so hard for me to even say of like, I want to be like, oh, this is the most important. No, this is the most important. It's because all three are important. We need all three. And now fats, it's so vital. It's part of your body's ability to absorb vitamins and minerals is through fats. So if we are under eating on fats, then we're going to end up with not getting enough of the right minerals and vitamins that we need, which is going to cause a host of other issues and problems. It helps really protect the body from injury. It's really almost like insulation for the body. Like, think of insulation in the wall. Like, it really is helping your body in that way. So really, we need all three macros, and that's why we don't want to demonize any foods. We want to be able to eat all the foods that you love while getting you to your goals. And that's why number one is include all food groups. And
then if you even think about it, just from like a non-judgy or non-judgy, like a non-biased perspective, like restricting yourself of either any of these categories, proteins, carbs, or fat, it's just exhausting and it's tiring, and you always have to be on the lookout of like, oh my gosh, like I can't do this because of that, or you're always like cranky because you feel like you're missing out on whatever your family or your friends are eating, and it's just exhausting for me.
It definitely affects your thoughts for sure. Yeah. Well, number 2 of our 4 hacks, number 2 is stop labeling food as good or bad.
This is a huge one, I think.
And this is one of the first things that we always cover with our clients because it's something that really needs to be addressed right off the bat. Food does not have morality. Food is energy. Food is nutrients. Food is fuel. Your body needs food, and it's a good thing. And yes, there are different types of foods, and there's different levels of what it's providing to your body as far as the nutrients and the quality of the food. But food is food, and there is room for all types of foods. That's why we like to promote the 80-20 rule of 80% nutrient-dense whole foods and 20% what we like to call fun foods or soul foods, things that just give you that kind of like soul fulfillment. Because like we were saying, it's, for us, it's Easter is right around the corner, and I want to have a Reese's, chocolate egg, but I'm not going to worry about it. It's not bad to me.
Do you think those?
It's good because it's providing value in that emotional way.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think like some of the are marshmallow Peeps treat foods for you, or not treat foods, soul foods for you?
No, I don't like marshmallow Peeps. I just like to blow them up in the microwave.
I've never even done that.
Really?
No, yeah.
Oh,
that's a thing?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Really?
We would buy them just so that we could blow them up in the microwave because we thought it was so fun.
All right, maybe we'll have to try some. By the time this episode comes out, I'll let you guys know how it goes. But this particular concept, it reminded me, I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and this particular person, she was like, I one of the things that I do to try and manage weight loss is detoxing. I do these cleanses, I do these juice cleanses. She's like, and I love it. I feel great. However, she's like, what ends up happening is the more I restrict the things that I enjoy eating, she's like, I can do a detox for 3-4 days, but then I swing the pendulum way to the other side, and I end up overeating. I end up binge eating. She's like, and sometimes it'll last for a day. Sometimes it'll last for a week, simply because she's like, the more I restrict these things, the more I want them. And so I was kind of going back and forth with her, and I was like, well, do you think that maybe it's the approach that we're taking that makes you feel so restricted? And she's like, wow. She's like, I never thought about it like that. But it's so important to really, as simple as it sounds, that you don't have these preconceived notions of, oh, this is good, or oh, this is bad, because at the end of the day, it's really all, food for your body.
Yeah, just because a food has, fewer calories or less sugar or is, organic, that doesn't make it automatically good and then everything else bad. Like, again, food does not have morality, and it's so important to understand that and to just drop the idea of good foods and bad foods completely from your vocabulary. It doesn't exist. There's nutrient-dense foods and there is fun foods. That's really how I like to categorize it, because if we get into the good and bad food morality thing, we just, like you're saying, we perpetuate the binge restrict cycle, which ultimately can take somebody who's never had an issue with binge eating in their life, and suddenly they now feel out of control around foods, and they feel like they just can't, they can't have a certain food without overeating it, and they start to just make it worse and worse, and it snowballs, and it's not a good place to be in.
Yeah, and the worst part of it all, when there's no flexibility, when there's no room for these, foods that make you feel happy, make you feel, joyful, or whatever you want to call it, like what's the point of even, going around and what's the point of or like, how can you even be present when it comes to holidays, when it comes to going out to eat with dinner, or going out to eat with friends and family? It's just like you also have to enjoy yourself every once in a while,
Exactly. And that's really what this is all about. But number 3 on our hacks for a healthier relationship with food and exercise, number 3 is choose to move your body in ways that are fun and enjoyable, because it's so important that you don't force yourself to move your body in ways that you don't enjoy, because it's not going to be sustainable. If it doesn't feel good to you, don't do it. It's as simple as that. If you hate running, don't force yourself to go for runs every day because you hear that it's great for weight loss. Which, by the way, that's a whole nother episode of, it's definitely absolutely not the best approach for weight loss. But that goes for any form of exercise. If you hate doing it, then let's find something that you love to do. And this is why having a coach is so important, because they're knowledgeable in all forms of exercise. They know how to really make any form of exercise work with your goals, and they can help you bridge the gap between what is going to be effective and what is going to be fun and sustainable for you.
Yeah. And for a fact, I know our team has helped people that, love to do like Peloton rides. Like, okay, great. We can do that. Like other people like to do, F45 and stuff like that. It's like, all right, awesome. Great. We can do all these things and still make sure that we're positioning our training and our nutrition in a way that's going to help you to get to where you want to go. Even something as simple as that, honestly, I would have never even thought about, but something as simple as like parking away from the store in a parking lot, right? And parking far away from it so that you can get more steps as you're going in and out of the store, and just getting that extra movement. You don't even notice it, but that right there, that's movement. And if that's what you enjoy doing, you enjoy walking, then so be it. Like, that's going to be helpful. And it's better than just sitting on the couch and just not doing anything at all,
Exactly. And making sure that your movement is something that you enjoy is also going to help just relieve stress overall. It's going to help you just make it to where it's a fun thing for you to do. It doesn't feel like something you have to do. It feels like something you get to do.
Yeah. I know sometimes we're here in Florida, but at times I'm like, man, I want to go walk outside. And then I go outside and it's 100 degrees and it's humid. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll just stay inside and walk on our treadmill here at home.
Yeah. The walking pad, best purchase ever.
Yeah.
If you work from home, have a standing desk, 10 out of 10 recommend a walking pad.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes it's either that or I like walk around my counter, the
Pace around
island.
the kitchen counter.
Yeah. And I'm like, what the
with
heck?
Zoe just following you around.
She's like, Dad, are you going to give me some treats?
Like, where's he going? Where's he going? He's doing another lap. Well, number 4, our last hack for a healthier relationship with food and exercise. Determine a realistic time frame for achieving your goals and embrace the journey. Realistic is so important. If we're constantly trying to search for the fast thing, like what is the fastest way possible for me to lose the weight, you are year after year still going to be struggling to lose the weight. And I say that because having worked with hundreds of women who have gone through that cycle for years and years. And, we have women who are in their 50s and 60s, and they've been doing this for decades of just trying to lose the weight, losing it, gaining it back and more, losing it, gaining back and more. And they finally come to us like, I am ready to just nip this in the bud, do this the right way once and for all. And they embrace the more sustainable approach, and they embrace it and make it a more enjoyable journey. Then they have amazing results, and they maintain those results for the rest of their life. That's what we should be shooting for.
And I think in addition to that, I think part of the sustainability is, again, it goes back to kind of what you talked about. If you don't label food as good or bad, if you include all the food groups, you don't exclude anything, you don't restrict yourself, and you also enjoy the things that you're doing, then that's what makes the process sustainable, as opposed to you just always wanting that instant gratification and being like, I want this now, and then after the 9 weeks, after the 10 weeks are over, I'll figure it out. I'll go from there. And I hate to say this, but the thing is, you're not going to figure it out, and you're not going to magically just keep the weight off, because it doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, there's so much behavior, there's so many habits that need to change for you to be able to keep the weight off. So instead, if you delay that gratification, right, and do something simple, like 1% changes each and every day over the course of a year, it's so much more sustainable than what you would do, in like 12 weeks. And think of it this way. I know a lot of times we like to do analogies of like finance. Like if somebody was like, hey, Vanessa, like invest in this new Bitcoin, invest in this new Bitcoin and you can make $1 million, or you can invest in yourself, and over the course of the next 10 years, you'll probably be able to make $1 million because of all the skills you've acquired through these investments. Like, which one would you go to? Obviously the Bitcoin sounds more appealing, but if you do that, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to get scammed. Or if it's too good to be true, it probably is. So delaying that gratification, doing the hard work, investing in yourself time over time, that's what's going to make the biggest difference in the long run. And it took me so long to figure out that, it's hard for people to really come to, acknowledge this simple fact.
Yeah. And this is a really tough concept to swallow down, because we live in an instant gratification society. Let's be honest. Like, we all wish we could just Amazon Prime ourselves our dream body overnight.
Everything.
Exactly. But you can't Amazon Prime your dream body to yourself. You can't just get your body overnight. And it just doesn't really work that way. Like, we want what we want, and we want to have it just overnight, but that's not how it works. And if we do get so hyper-focused on these fast results and these, instant gratification types of methods, then that's when we start to get super hung up in just like every little move of like, oh my gosh, now I've messed up. Now I've set myself back. Now I'm, not on pace to hit my 30-day weight loss goal. And now it's like, might as well just give up on myself. This sucks. Screw it. I'm done with it. And we give up on ourselves, and we just completely forget that at the end of the day, we want this to be sustainable. We want to adopt healthy habits that we can maintain for life. It's not about what you're going to look like in 30 days. It's about what are you going to look like in 3 years? Do you want this to be sustainable or not? So that's really what it comes down to. And if we can embrace all 4 of these really hacks, but really mentalities of let's include all food groups, let's stop labeling food as good and bad, let's choose to move our body in ways that are fun and enjoyable, and let's determine a realistic time frame for our goals, and let's embrace the journey, then I promise you, you will get there. The time will pass either way. You will get there if you focus on these 4 things, especially if you have a coach guiding you along the way and keeping you on track and keeping you focused too.
Yeah, and that's so powerful what you were saying. Time is going to pass regardless of whether you choose or whether you like it or not. So wouldn't you rather pass the time in doing something that's sustainable, or would you rather keep doing these fad diets over and over and keep hitting yourself up against the wall because they don't work? And again, we've said it time and time again, embrace that long-term journey. Do things that are sustainable. That's what gives you long-term results for the rest of your life.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, I think that wraps it up for this episode. Thank you so much for listening, you guys. If this was helpful for you, please do us a favor, share it with a friend or screenshot it, share it on your Instagram story or on Facebook, whatever, wherever you're active on social media, share it with the world. We'd be so grateful, so appreciative. If you tag me, then I can see it and I can really shout you out for it. So I would love that as well. But that is all for this week. We'll be back next week with another episode. Thank you so much for listening.
All right. See you guys.